Hi, so we're Travel with Johnny and Will, and today we just want to let you know how we've ended up in three different Premier Inn rooms in two different Premier Inns within Southampton.
Yeah, so we have just been on a 3 night cruise with MSC, and we decided that we would stay tonight in Southampton before flying back home tomorrow morning. We have booked a stay in the Premier Inn West Quay in this city of Southampton. Um, and now we're in Southampton City Centre
City Centre, yeah.
Hotel. And we've been in two rooms here as well. So, how did this all start? Um, I think we first of all need to say that I booked this room probably. I booked the room in West Key, probably against my better judgment. For anybody that's been following us on our channel, we have stayed there before, and did say that we wouldn't be back. Isn't that right?
I think we did say that, yeah.
Yeah. The reason why I booked it was that we were traveling with others because we had been away for a birthday cruise for me, and I wanted to keep costs low for everybody else that was traveling, and I knew that it was very close to the likes of the West Key Centre.
Yeah, which we enjoy going to the West Quay Centre, so it made sense to book somewhere close.
Yeah, there are plenty of places to eat and drink there, and some of those were traveling with us. Can't really walk long distances, so that's why we booked that hotel in the first place. So, as the afternoon went on, first of all, we went early this morning and left our bags in. And then we
Which is
found
great, if
yeah,
we can leave our bags and it didn't cost us anything.
yeah. And then we went at 1:30 to check in. At first, we were just sort of told, check in 3 p.m. So whenever we then had asked, well, was there any rooms available earlier, because we were there and we've been walking around Southampton for a number of hours. Yes, room is ready now, but £10. So that was fine. We paid the £10 and off we go to our room. As the afternoon goes on, then we realised we have no hot water, and neither had the others that we were travelling with in their rooms. So we all went down to reception, and we had sort of then later realised that this was a problem with the whole hotel. And initially, we were told that it was a problem in the area. Now, I don't know about wherever you're watching from, whether or not your councils and water boards run boiling hot water under the ground to your houses, but certainly where we live, the water board basically brings you cold water, and then you have a thing in your house called a boiler to heat the water. So first of all, we were told it's a problem in the area. But they had contacted people to come out and fix the issue. There was a leak from a pipe or something, so it was fine.
Yeah, the whole story was odd because if the hotel has running water, it has water. It just didn't have a way to heat that water. So this problem with the pipe, it didn't really make sense to us, did it?
Now, Will understand more about water and things like that than I will, because he's a civil engineer. But yeah, I even get that. That if there's a leak, then there should be no water or limited
Yeah.
water. And if the water's turned off, then you've no water. So that was okay. We had says, look, obviously we need to. Is this going to be fixed? Yes, we assume it will be, but there could be no reassurance. There was really no reassurance given, and other guests were coming down, and they have been starting to arrange for those guests to be shipped off to another hotel in Southampton. So we then decided that that would be the best thing for us.
Yeah, to get to another hotel.
Yeah. So we then decided, look, I wrote down the 3 room numbers. I left the lady at reception seemed quite overwhelmed and under pressure because there was a lot of other guests around. And I says, look, we're going all out. We're all going to go for a meal. We'll be back in a couple of hours. So if that gives you enough time to sort this, we can then go to another hotel whenever we come back. So we then came back and we were told, oh, you don't have to move now. We have been told that the problem will be resolved within the next hour. So we
Yeah.
waited and gave them the chance to get it fixed. These things happen, things go wrong.
But then by an hour and a half later, it still wasn't fixed. There was still no hot water.
Yeah, still no hot water. And some of us wanted to get a bath and things like that. We certainly need a shower in the morning whenever we get up to head home. So again, we all go down to reception, and we were met, I think, with the possible duty manager guy. He seemed to not be wearing a uniform compared to the other staff that were working. he was a pleasant guy, but he says, oh, first of all, he was like, oh, is it not working yet? We're like, no. Oh, I was told that the water was back on and the leak had been fixed. So again, I didn't want to sound patronizing to the guy, but without, I had to make my point that yes, the leak may be fixed, but maybe this leak or something has caused an issue with the water in your hotel. And I had to really spell it out for him. Look, you don't have hot water that comes to your house at home, do you? So therefore, what do you have at home to heat water? And he was like, a boiler. Bingo! But he didn't seem to recognize that the problem was with the hotel. And then he sort of said that they had reported it on, that it still wasn't working. But then his colleague kind of came then and was like, oh, I've put that call through now. So
I'd have to say that nearly
she had
just done it. Yeah.
So no, you hadn't put the call through. I think, to be honest, it was like, personally speaking, I would have hated to have been working there today because it would have been a very stressful shift. But I think that he possibly just wanted to tell us something for us to leave.
Nearly like what you wanted to hear in order to
get you to
make
go.
the problem go away for him.
Yes, even for 20 minutes while he could then scramble around to try and fix the issue. But we kind of didn't leave. So we all were sort of sitting there, and I just says, look, this isn't good enough. We all do need to get washed. Like it's a basic necessity. And I says, look, you did offer earlier on to transfer us to another hotel. We would need that to happen now. I also then had says that, look, because of the poor communication and how this was being dealt with, I would also expect to be refunded as well. So he then started to do a lot of work at the computer, frantically typing and click, click, click of the mouse. And then he had given us printouts with confirmation numbers of bookings on them, which was then for Southampton City Centre Hotel. Mm-hmm. And I had said, look, how are we going to get to this hotel? The lady that was working at reception, she was like, earlier on in the day, oh, it's like a 10-minute walk. Definitely wasn't a 10-minute walk.
Well, it wasn't even a 10-minute walk if you Googled it, from West Quay to City Centre's premierinn. So there was no way that was a 10-minute walk for any person.
No.
And the other thing as well, they were sending people who had booked their meal or bought a meal voucher to this hotel.
Yeah.
Walking to get a meal, and sort of.
Yeah, so it was
to say 10 minutes was.
Yeah, it was
not
just
correct.
wrong.
No,
do you know what I mean?
not right.
So again, I sort of says, look, we'll not be walking to this hotel. You will have to book a taxi and pay for it. I just explained that, two of our party have walking issues, so a 20-minute walk is out of the question. So the manager guy, Christian, he did say that he would pay for the taxis, and he organised then for us to be transferred to this hotel. So we then get to this hotel.
Yeah.
And the first thing that happened was we came into reception, and the three others that had left in the first taxi were still standing, and they kind of looked like bewildered. And I was just like, what's wrong? And they're like, they're trying to charge us for this booking. So I just sort of like interjected, piped up, and I was like, look, we've been transferred from another hotel. This booking's already paid for. The other hotel needs to sort this. So the guy was just like, oh, okay, right. And I says, you need to speak to your sister hotel.
But the fact that the other hotel hadn't give that communication to this hotel is just a real terrible way of managing. Again, it was nearly like he was, okay, right, we've got rid of them. They're out of our hotel in the West Quay.
Yeah,
and then now it's the problem of the city centre.
Yeah, he would have probably been sorry if we had to come back.
He should have communicated that better to this hotel.
A simple phone call would have fixed the problem.
Yeah.
However, I'm pretty sure that premierinn has this fantastic piece of software that they probably use to communicate with sister
where the message
hotels.
just sits there and nobody reads it.
Yeah, that's probably what happened. So that was okay. He couldn't get through to the other hotel on the phone. So again, somebody else had just sort of piped up, look, how about you just check us in based on our confirmation numbers, and then you check with your colleague. rather than us standing there, it's now 10 past 10 in the evening, and we're sort of standing there, and we're sort of tired, and we just want to get washed and to go to bed. So that was okay. He gave us all room keys. Up we come. We were supposed to be in room 4. Was it 418?
418.
Yeah, 418. So on the 4th floor.
Or was it 429? It'll be in the video.
Yes, it'll be
We'll
in the
insert it
We'll
here.
insert it here. We can't remember the room numbers because we've stayed in so many rooms. We came down the hallway. Sort of smelled
Smelled
quite
a bit
funky,
suspicious,
yeah, quite a funky smell in the hallway.
Thinking, where's the smell coming from?
And then we opened the door to our bedroom.
To discover the smell's coming from that room.
Yes. So clearly either the person last night that stayed there clearly was fond of cannabis, weed, marijuana, whatever, and clearly had some either on their person and smoked it in the room, or if they didn't smoke it in the room, it was certainly in the room overnight. Mm. Now, by any means, we're not experts in this, but it definitely smelled like that. So we
Straight
then
back down to reception then.
Yeah. I just says, look, we can't stay in that room. It smells of weed. And the guy was like, weed? And I was like, yeah, cannabis. You know. And he was like, oh. So he immediately then just sort of got up, walked out of the hotel, to then speak to, I think it was his line manager or supervisor. And she came in and says, what's the problem? And I says, well, by no means are we experts in recreational drugs. I says, however, there is the smell of weed or cannabis in that room. If you want to go up and check. And you just went into the room and we're like, yes, this guy just checked us in 5 minutes ago. Mm-hmm. So she says, right, okay. So again, she then tap on the computer and give us another room key. So our third room of today is room 115. Yes, so we'll insert some footage here of the room. It's just a pretty standard premierinn room with storage facilities and your bathroom with a shower with a bath with a fixed head, which I don't like. But it looks pretty clean. One thing we will say about this room, however, is the air conditioning doesn't work. It is flashing away with an error code and a little spanner, and clearly they know this is a problem because I'm pretty sure you have in the footage that the room has a fan and an oil-filled heater. Yeah. So if we get too cold or too warm, we can cover both bases. However, I just think downstairs, it says behind reception, good night guaranteed. A good night guaranteed. Maybe the people that were smoking the weed last night had a good night, but this certainly has not been a good night. Premierinn. I just feel it's really poor, really rubbish customer service. This is hospitality. There's nothing hospitable about not even communicating to your guests, look, by the way, we're really sorry, we're going to stick you in a room with no air conditioning, but we have put a fan in the room and a heater if you're too cold. It's just poor, which is really unfortunate. It just sort of seems that today we've had such a bad experience of premierinn, and obviously they're quite a national organisation,
Yeah, it's just taken a long time, obviously, to get the issue resolved, and there's been a lot of going down to reception to check what's going on. Also, you tried ringing the number, it wasn't picked up, so there was at least 3 or 4 times you were down to reception to try and get answers and stuff. You were sort of told lies, weren't you? Because obviously we knew the problem wasn't reported until probably like 10 minutes before we got in the taxi. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
Will it be fixed? Now, good luck to the guests that are still there. They know there's no hot water. There were still people checking in, knowing there was no hot water.
Although they were told it was going to be fixed by the morning, whether or not that happens is. Yeah.
Good luck. But definitely, I think if we're back to Southampton, premierinn is a definite no-no.
No, it's
This is the only premierinn actually that we haven't stayed in before in Southampton.
We've done Cumberland Place, we've done the airport, we've done West Quay.
And
So
now
city
this,
centre.
yeah, so this is all for now. If you want to check out the videos of those other Premier Inns,
Yeah, we'll link them
we'll link them
in the
There's-
top or in the description below.
Yeah, none of them have been that special. The airport probably was okay. You know, look, we know, folks. You know, you don't pay a fortune for these rooms. However, sometimes whenever you stay in Southampton, if there's a lot of cruise ships leaving the next day, rooms are really expensive. And even for a Premier Inn, and we have stayed in Premier Inn before here in Southampton and paid a lot more than the money we did pay for tonight. But look, we've been in 3 rooms for the cost of one, which was 73 quid. And fingers crossed tomorrow, whenever we ring customer services, because apparently the hotels can't authorise a refund, all they can do is put notes on the system in order to get our refund.
What fingers crossed that they've made those notes.
We are tired. We really sort of wanted to relax today. And
Yeah.
Premier Inn was not the place to do that. So thanks for watching, everybody. We just wanted to share about our fiasco of a day with Premier Inn. So thanks really for watching.
If you like this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up below and click subscribe and ring that bell to be notified so that you don't miss out on our further videos.
And just one more thing, tell us in the comments below if you've stayed in any of these Southampton Premier Inns before. Tell us what your experience was, because we want to know whether this is just a one-off, or whether this is sort of like a trend of what Premier Inn has to offer here in Southampton. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.